everybody, welcome to week 8, the week of November 17th. November 7th through the 13th. I've started this screencast over 3 times. 1, my dogs were barking. 2, I just couldn't pronounce any words. And 3, I just gave you the wrong date. So number 4 will be the winner. It is the still part of the first week, or maybe now entering the second week of November. So we're heading into winter, believe it or not, whether it feels like it or not. We Californians near the coast still have a winter that's coming. Here you are in the thick of things with researching your topic. I know everybody has selected a topic because you turned in a prospectus. The prospectus means that you have committed to a topic for the rest of the quarter. You may not switch topics at all this quarter. It is natural for your topic to morph a little bit, to kind of turn a little bit of a corner, or, as you research, it informs your research. It's kind of one of these recursive activities. The more you search, the more you find, the more you search, the more you find. So I want you to feel comfortable and accepting of your topic if it tweaks a little bit, if it changes a teeny bit. It's not like it's going to go from you looking at the health of coral reefs in Australia to landing on Mars and starting life on Mars. That's not what I mean by your topic might tweak a little bit. In other words, it's going to stay in the same vein. It's just that where you create your focus might be more illuminated by the process of researching itself. So it's still pretty fluid for you, but you nonetheless have a declared topic for this paper. I give you a little, these are quick. I'm giving you some really quick things I want you to look at. If you're not sure the difference between a regular old magazine article or even something like Scientific American or American Handyman, I'm trying to think of, or Cosmopolitan, or just names of magazines or, print sources or online sources. If you don't know the difference between a popular source and a scholarly article, you might want to glance at this to refresh yourself. Also, I have a really quick, I think it's helpful. I used to have a quiz on it, but now I don't. So I expect you to read through it. It's a web page that is very, very brief and shows you how to identify and make it through reading a scholarly article. If you've found one, or if you've not found one yet, you'll agree with me that they are dense and filled with a lot of the jargon from that particular field. So if it's the field of geometry, it's going to have data and information that it might be beyond your reach. You're going to have to look words up. You're going to have to Google phrases if you're not sure of technical terms. So if you are not sure, how do I take a 30-page journal article and find what's useful in it? Do I read the whole thing? Maybe not. No scholars want you to waste time on their article if it doesn't help you research. Researching is a very generous community, the community of researchers. Yes, we want you to give the particular researchers credit, but we don't want you to suffer through a 30-page article if it's not going to serve your needs. So learning how to read through a scholarly article is helpful. I personally start with the findings section. I kind of want to go to what did they discover after all their research was done. And if I can't find something in their findings or in their discussion of their own findings, and it's not something that will, help my topic, then I don't use that source. I go on to something else. So follow these shortcuts, how to read one of these journal articles and how to navigate through it without feeling like you're stuck reading it in a linear fashion the way you would, a textbook or chapter. I also give you something called the CRAP test, how to evaluate sources. And you know that the CRAAP obviously stands for something. There's a 10-point quiz. It's very easy. Quick. I call it quick and dirty. I use that term whenever it's a quick and dirty quiz. Both the CRAP test and chapter 14 have quick and dirty quizzes with them. I think the chapter 14 quiz is only 4 questions. So you're going to go from reading chapter 14, what's motivating this writer, and then taking a quick quiz on it. Also this week, you are embarking on the annotated bibliography, which is part 2 of the research paper. Here I give you the instructions. It's a PDF of the actual kind of formal instructions. What's required? 3 sources. How do they need to be written? Or 3 different, you're going to write 3 different annotations. What are they supposed to be composed of? What piece parts? Here are the instructions. Here is the screencast describing the instructions where I go through them. By now, some of you are like, oh, I like to read the PDF. I get plenty of information. Some of you are like, I'm not even going to read the PDF. I'm going to start with PK's screencast because she's going to go through the PDF. That's true. So you're armed and dangerous here. You've got both the PDF and the screencast of the PDF. Here, make sure you check out your rubric. If you can't find every one of these little items in your annotation, then it is not complete. Please, by now, you should be really used to looking at rubrics. Rubrics are kind of the twin, or you could say they're the fraternal twin of the instructions, because the instructions are going to tell you what to do, and the rubric is going to determine whether you did it. Okay? I give you the variety of graded annotated bibliographies of former students. You can see, even if I don't make notes on it, you can see for yourself. You can read through. I would do this: read through a C and then read through an A. You can feel the difference in these documents. Here's where you are going to upload your annotated bibliography. Notice, if I could put it big flashing red lights, it is not due this week. It is due next Tuesday. Why am I giving you something that's not due this week? Because it takes more than a week to work on it. Okay? It takes a lot. You've got to go through the searching, find your article, read it, synthesize it, and then create an annotated entry. That takes time. That is not something you do the night before. That is something you do a week before. So this whole week, besides the components that I've given you, this whole week should be on you looking for sources and learning how to condense them and use them in your research. So that's what you're going to want to do with your annotated bibliography. The data visualization workshop, this is a recording of a Zoom workshop. If you're kind of feeling like, what was it like during the lockdown? What was it like during 2021? When students used to have to go to a Zoom library workshop. Well, this was one of my favorite professors. I always have my students take this data visualization workshop from this professor, so I couldn't resist bringing him in. If you're just a nerd and you like to figure out how to make charts and graphs out of data, or you're just not sure how to visualize data, please watch this Zoom workshop. And plus you get to hear how students answer, and you kind of think, well, what were you like during that time period? Then I give you, here's your mandatory. This one's optional. This one's mandatory. It is sponsored by Kennedy Library. It is their data visualization tutorial. It is also going to have embedded in it another one of those notebooks. It's going to have some familiar questions. I want you to answer them again. All right. This tutorial, I believe, is going to ask you then to email. It's going to end up emailing me whether you participated or not. And what I'm going to do is put your data in here. Okay. If you completed the workshop and the system emails me, I will put your points in this category that I'm pointing to right here, the Data Visualization Library Tutorial. That's where the points will be kept. They're scored here and they're put right here. In between, I have this week's discussion. Again, I'm calling it quick and dirty. You've got a lot of other things going on this week. You don't need to have something that feels like busy work, but I do need you guys to communicate with each other, especially about your findings and the process. So you'll look at this week's sweet and sour discussion. It asks you very specific questions. So I want you to read it, read it closely. It's a fun discussion. It's not time consuming. All right. And then of course the week's wrap up. So you got plenty on your plate for this week. Some of it you can pound out pretty quickly. I know some of you like to just pound out the quizzes and get them done. So I think you can do that. But the heavy lifting of this week is focused on your annotated bibliography, and that is focused on you, or it's contingent on you finding good sources. So you are the searcher this week. That's what you're up to this week. And for the following weeks is all about the research paper. All right. So again, contact me whenever you have questions. I try and answer them as quickly as I can. I know, particularly for online students, it's frustrating to feel like you don't have an answer to something, or you don't know where you're going, or you can't find something, or a link is broken. Please email me whenever you have a concern, and I will do my best to put that concern, well, put it at ease in your mind. All right, everybody, I'm proud of how hard you're working, and this is the time of year where I wish I was one of those teachers who saw parents, because what I would want to tell your parents is how proud they would feel of you. You are working so hard and producing amazing, amazing work. So even though maybe I'm not here to tell you that in person, please believe it comes from my heart. I see it coming into my inbox, into these into all our course design, your amazing intelligence and your curiosity and just your grit. It's really impressive how hard you guys work. So keep it up. You've got a topic in hand, so you are good to go for the rest of the quarter in terms of your topic. Yes, you'll continue to develop it, but you're not